Curtis Eaddy. I'm going to let you know my passion about impacting the health and well-being here in Baltimore. So I'm really passionate about getting out the message that trauma exists. You know, it's not PTSD that just soldiers are kind of impacted by, but here in Baltimore, we live in a traumatic environment. And I'm defining trauma to be an experience that one has gone through that impacts their ability to think, perceive, or act moving forward. Um, I say that because I have a lot of trauma myself, growing up from past to present. And one of my traumatic experiences, so my cousin was a big role model of mine, and he was murdered when I was in 2004. For him to be my role model, I remember the last thing he said to me. He said, "Get our family out of the slums." And at that time, I really didn't understand it, but that experience that he went through, where he was my role model, but he was a drug dealer. He'd been arrested. He came home 10 years later. So out of his 10-year stint, I'm like, "Hey, cuz," and I'm thinking that my role model was going to help school me on things that I thought was cool. But instead, his traumatic experience, he didn't want me to go down that same path or road. Um, but I recognized other people who didn't have the resilience that I think I did. I had the least the outlets. So my trauma, I was able to cope through music, my art, my expressions, and then having family members who listened, and encourage having a voice. Where a lot of people in our community don't have an outlet or expression, a way to express themselves, and they don't see counseling or therapy as a helpful avenue or even a positive thing. If you got a counselor or therapist, you're crazy. So, if we can dispel the fact that trauma is only impacting soldiers at war, as well as that therapy or seeking assistance um, is a problem, I feel like then we can improve the social behavior here in our Baltimore neighborhoods.